We are live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks presented by Entab. So, as we all know, that the COVID-19 has changed the meaning and design of teaching learning forever. So, from curriculum to pedagogy, from skill set to assessment, the education system has changed its outlook. However, in all these, it is significant that we analyze how to engage students effectively in online learning. To, to speak on reimagining ways to sustain student engagement and learning virtually, we have with us a very experienced educator with more than 2 decades of experience. She has evolved a highly effective teaching technique which caters to the need of learners of various temperament. So, as a school leader, she has introduced various projects that inculcates innovative teaching techniques in teachers, enhances collaborative learning and student engagement among students. So please welcome Ms. Sunitha Srivastava ma'am, founder principal VLS International Public School, Bengaluru. Welcome to EdTalks, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nimisha. I profoundly thank Entab for giving me opportunity to speak on this vast platform and share my views on the pertaining topic. And greetings to all the viewers on this evening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving us your time. So, ma'am, as we're moving forward, so in this whole few months, the meaning of classroom, student engagement, and role of teachers is all drastically changed. So, how was your experience with the all these past few months? How was your experience with the online teaching? Would you share with our viewers?
Yeah. Gladly, I would like to share. Of course, this pandemic, I would call it as a black swan event. It is it has affected everyone, each one of us. Each of the sector is affected except one or two. When we talk about pharmaceutical or hospital industry, or when we talk about FMCG, those are unaffected. But apart from that, uh, almost all the sectors are affected. Especially education is the one which is badly affected. We are all experiencing it. But the thing is, we educators are always dynamic and flexible. We are ready to change whatever the situation is. We take a little bit of gap. We step back for 2 minutes and then we come back. And with more power. When we come back, we come with more power. That is what it has happened even now. Uh, the schools which are technically sound, they were really prepared for this. What is the current need? One school should be technically sound. Not only the institution, but the faculties, the parents' mindset, all these things are very, very important. The schools who are ready for that, and they have done quite well. And in our school, if I have to talk about our school, the final exam was in the month of March. We were all set, ready to go, and all of a sudden on 20th, we were told to close the school, and that is how the question papers were just lying like that. And for 2 days, I couldn't think on what to do. I thought maybe within few days this thing will be there will be some solution for this. But to my surprise, there was no answer from anywhere. Then what I did, I just converted all those question papers into worksheets. We saw that for some days the students were engaged, and we broken those question papers into small worksheets, and it was carried forward for a few more days. And afterwards, we had summer vacation. Children enjoyed their summer vacation. In between, we connected with students to know their health, well-being, and afterwards, it was uh, the month of June. We were expecting that we will be starting the academic session very smoothly, and we All the educators had planned for the 2021 session. The calendar events were ready in the month of March. We start the preparation in the month of Jan and thereafterwards. So even my calendar of events was ready, and June we were about to start the school on 6th of June, but there was no sign of it. Again, we had a review meeting and thought something has to be done for this. And we explored all kinds of platforms to see to this online teaching learning takes place. After thorough search, I stumbled upon Lark, a very innovative way of using for teaching learning process. There we can record, we can upload the documents, and we even have a recording facility. Many kinds of options are available in that platform, and we embraced it. And today we are very happy. After 3 months, we are doing it absolutely fantastic, and students are enjoying it. The reason is they have the feeling that they can type on their own. Usually in classrooms, they don't go to the board and write. Usually the teacher holds that platform. And here they were having the liberty to type the answers then and there itself. Whenever the teacher is asking question, they type it, and that hands-on experience is also there. Apart from that, we can conduct a lot of activities even through online. I'll come about that afterwards. So like that, it's been around 4 months. We are enjoying the journey, though it is different. The bonding is not there. What I'm missing is I'm literally missing my children, and for that, I wish the school starts once again. Otherwise, when I have to talk about teaching learning process, it's going on very smoothly. In fact, we will be having midterm exam very soon.
Ma'am, even, each and every one must have thought that this is just for, 15 days lockdown or 20 days lockdown. But then now look at us. Here we are in the middle of the year, like ending year, and still at home.
Yes, yes.
So, ma'am, moving forward, as online education is one of the pillars of the new normal now. So, engaging students in e-learning has become very significant. So, what are your experiences as of now, and how we can, enhance it?
E-learning definitely, as I told you before, the schools which were already trained in this particular zone, they did not have any issue to carry out this online classes. But the schools which were not trained, ultimately the institution had to take the responsibility and train the faculties first, and then orient the parents, because parents will be responsible now for the online learning. Unless and until their cooperation is there, we cannot conduct online classes. So first it is teachers training, and then for the orientation for the parents, and then certain ground rules are given to the children, and that is how it was carried forward. But if I have to talk about my experience, it is really engaging, and I get 100% attention from the children when we are teaching. So we are happy when I have to speak about teaching learning process. As I said, I miss my children a lot during this session.
So, ma'am, while all the teachers are aiming for full engagement from the students, so what tricks you and your fellow colleagues have applied for the students?
Yeah, I have to talk about pedagogy in this pedagogic techniques. In this, I would like to tell what actually is pedagogy. If I have to talk about it, it will take more than 2 hours. But that this time constraint, I've just made small notes so that I can explain it in very crisp manner. Pedagogy is nothing but the art, science, and craft of teaching. And there are certain techniques which has been proved previously, and it has been used extensively. After seeing the effectiveness, the educators have picked up and they have carried forward. And even these techniques have been included in the teacher trainings and several kinds of teacher trainings. These kinds of techniques have been involved so that teachers get right kind of direction as to how these techniques to be carried forward. So I would like to talk about a few techniques. There are more than 30 to 50, but I cannot talk all the techniques. I'll just highlight the few which are major. Okay. The first one is a constructivist technique, collaborative, integrative, reflective, inquiry based. These are the five pillars, I could say. And then mass practice, distributive practice, learning processes, Zata positioning, and means end analysis. It is a problem solving technique where the student identifies the end first. He identifies the ends first and understand where he is standing now, and then through which means he has to attain that end. That is how he figures it out, and then minimize the gap between the end and the means. Then rule, example rule. Here the definition is taught through examples, and then the other student, he just tells how this example fits into that definition. Then it's a keyword method is there. PQ4R is there. PQR4, if I have to elaborate this, it is a preview, questioning, and then read, reflect, recite, and then review. These are the 4 R's which makes complete. Then it is inserting symbols. If the student is unable to understand the text, for those students, we can use this technique using the symbols. When the student inserts those symbols while reading the text, it becomes very the learning becomes very personal. So the child learns in a better way. As we find in each class, there are different types of learners. We cannot initiate one kind of learning for the whole class. We have to differentiate it. So we need to identify which kind of student we are catering to, and according to them, we have to personalize the teaching. So for some students, we can use this insert symbols. Then all the other technique is I wonder statement. The students, while reading the text, example, if they are reading science, they can just use this question, I wonder statement. So I wonder why this is happening, why the leaves are green, why this sky is blue. So they can ask the question for themselves, or they can ask their peer, or they can ask their teacher too. So this becomes a very solidifying learning experience. Then KWL sheet, most of the schools are using, and one more thing can be added in this is KWLS, that is state of the lesson. Those who are hearing for the first time, for them I would like to elaborate. K is for what I have already know about the topic, what I would like to know about the topic, and what I have learned today about the topic. And then status, what is the status of the topic. Then thick and thin questioning. Thick and thin questioning. Thin is the in the Bloom's taxonomy, the first level, which is memory based, that is thin level questioning. When it goes to analysis and beyond that, it comes under thick questioning. Then crossover learning, it is very, very familiar to the ICSE students because it is integrated in the curriculum itself and the 9 parameters which speaks about the pedagogy which has to be implemented in that cross integration is also there. Cross over learning, or we can call it as integration also. Subject integration we can call it as. So when the student is learning English, it can be integrated with maths, or it can be integrated with science, or even with music. Or when the child is learning physical education, that can be integrated with some other subject. It's a beautiful experience, students experience. Uh, just today I was teaching about maths. So there, the integration was about numbers, how the numbers are integrated into life skills, or value based, or real life experience. So the example which was given was a person who had knee problem. He is traveling by train, and he has got upper berth, so he cannot climb the berth. So he figures out who is having that lower berth and whom I can request and get lower berth. So there, without moving from his place, he figures out how he whom he can ask, which number he can contact directly, and then he figures out this particular number is having lower berth, and there two youngsters are sitting. I can just talk to them and exchange the seat. So this is how integration is done. Life skill, that is for real experience. Numbers can be used for real experience. And then computational thinking is one of the interesting ways of analyzing the subject. The first thing is decomposition, that is breaking the big topic into subtopics, or breaking into chunks, and then recognizing the pattern. Recognizing the pattern means how this particular problem was solved previously. Just looking back and understanding in what pattern that has been done. And then the third one is abstraction, taking out the unnecessary thing and retaining the required thing. That is abstraction. Then algorithms, that is identifying and developing steps. What I need to do now. Now I have taken out the unwanted stuff. I have the things which has to be taken care and worked upon. He will work on that and develop steps for that. And then last step is refining these steps, that is debugging. So these are all computer jargons which has been taken and used for understanding or teaching technique. Then learning by doing is there, where we can initiate role play, demo, demonstration, all these things. And also it is using case study or assessment or interactive lectures, which is done by most of the teachers. And then book review, peer review, just in time teaching, investigative method, industry, entrepreneurship, all these things can be explored. Here I would like to highlight about assessment. Assessment can be done in various ways. Usually it is teacher based assessment. Teacher usually gives the persons, and she only assess it. But it can be done in various ways. It can be done through peer assessment, self assessment, and group assessment. All these assessments are very useful, and we have implemented in our school. Students really sincere in their attempt. They don't give more marks or do all those things. They give just those marks which they are supposed to give. Then questioning, problem solving, documentation, empowering, encouraging and praising, scaffolding, and co-constructive method, modeling, positioning, all these the techniques can be used. If I have to talk about constructivist method in detail, because I this is one of the interesting thing, and it for the current situation, this can be implemented. What is constructivist methodology? It is active learning. Autonomy is given to the children. Students, they take the responsibility for their own learning. That is constructivist methodology. They create meaning and knowledge by themselves. They guide their own learning. And this was developed by John Dewey, and along it was still developed by Jean Piaget, and afterwards even Vygotsky developed this. So this is the history of constructivist methodology, and in this, the teachers and students are joint collaborators in learning. They take the responsibility, and teacher is just a facilitator. She is no more a teacher, no more controlling the classroom. She gives the autonomy to the students, and that is how they take the responsibility for themselves. What she does is she does the scaffolding act. That is, wherever the child is feeling difficulty, she goes and helps them. She just gives just a slight push, and that is how the children will come up. And then tutoring, cooperative learning, all these things can be implemented. By implementing this, what happens is the teacher can incorporate thinking skill in the children. So when the thinking skill is implemented, there is a lot of culture created in the classroom. Automatically, when the teacher initiate this, a kind of culture is created. Maybe in the initial stages, it is a little bit challenging for the teachers because she needs to guide them how it has to go on. And afterwards, once they understand, they will take the autonomy and move forward. And the environment will be very user friendly, and it is non-judgmental. Nobody judges, so the child feels very free to ask questions. So even inquiry based method is implemented here. Then I told about the it is also about out of thinking. The child is encouraged to think out of box, and that is how the big ideas, the child moves from the knowledge base to creativity level in the Bloom's taxonomy. The environment is very supportive, relaxing, open, and non-threatening. And this is how scaffolding is also included. Schema is one of the terminology I would like to talk about. It is the thing which is already in the child. The child has the previous knowledge, the prior knowledge is there with the child, and when a new topic is introduced, he tries to connect with the previous knowledge and makes a new meaning. So that is how the scaffolding acts. And then MKO is there, that is more knowledgeable than the other. ZPD is there, zone of proximate development. All those things are really interesting, and if it is implemented thoroughly, it the online teaching becomes very worthwhile.
So, ma'am, as you just talked about all these techniques, and so what are your opinions on artificial intelligence, AR, VR? Because they have also proved to be very productive tools during the online classes.
Yeah, when we are talking about technology in the classroom, of course, this whether it is artificial intelligence or augmented reality or virtual reality, these are all going to play a major role in the coming days. We are aware that artificial intelligence has entered in all the sectors. We can see the hotels with robots. We can see hospital industry, and even in the education industry, artificial intelligence has entered. And I saw one of the videos where a government teacher in Karnataka, he has implemented augmented reality in the classroom during this COVID situation. So I really appreciate him for taking such initiative. Usually we tag, but that is not the reality. Many government teachers are doing wonderful jobs Only thing is light is not thrown on them. So definitely it is going to be the future of education sector.
So, ma'am, as we're talking about online classes and engagement, so there is this thing that student needs to understand that online learning can help them immensely in identifying what interests and preferences they have. So, ma'am, how can we convey these messages to the students? And there is a realization. Can this realization can boost their engagement in classrooms?
What I believe is if the work culture of the school is very good, automatically conveying the students it becomes very easy. Uh, what we did last year was we worked on work culture. So this year, for us conducting online classes, it is very easy. So if any school is finding difficulty in handling such situation, what can be done is the head of the institution can notify or can have a personal meeting with the child. She can do the counseling herself. 2 years back, when I was handling a very large format school where 1,200 students were there, I used to call two students in a day and talk to them personally. And definitely now it is not possible. But what we can do is we can do it virtually. We can have a meeting with such children. We can just notify the child and we can have a meeting and talk to the child how 1 year if the child is not attending online classes properly, how it is going to affect the future. Future means in the next class the child will be learning more than what he is learning now. So the amount of learning which has to happen this year, it has to happen this year itself. Otherwise, the child will be lagging behind. So it's only in the way we convince the child, when we talk to the child, definitely these issues can be solved. Only thing is, what I believe is why children do such activities is they are attention seekers. They want attention from somebody. Somebody can talk to them, and that attention deficiency, if it is there in the society or in the home, they try to seek attention somewhere else. So it is a normal tendency of some students to try to disturb the class and are not very prompt for this online classes. So the head of the school need to identify those students and have a talk. Definitely solutions will come out.
So, ma'am, as you just talked about, talking to the students about their all these issues. So, ma'am, there is a concern that due to that the schools are closed, so there is a knowledge gap among the students. Ma'am, how can we prepare them for addressing the knowledge gap?
Definitely, because many of the schools started a little bit late. For our school, also, we started 1 month late. So, definitely, the 1 month gap was there. We need to think about solutions rather than thinking about the challenges what we face. The solutions for that is maybe we can extend the hours. That is one solution. Or we can give the autonomy to the child. We can use flipped classroom where the child learns and comes and then the discussion takes place. And when the children they themselves discuss and come to the solution, then it is nothing better than that. So only the assessment can be done by the teacher. Uh, in that manner, we can implement jigsaw, snowball activity, all the or think and pair share activity. All these things are wonderful techniques to implement during this COVID time, where the knowledge gap is there. We can implement these techniques, which solves the major problem.
So, ma'am, this is what the teacher's role is to, for the knowledge gap. So, what do you suggest for the parents?
Parents, the initial days, the parents' engagement is more rather than in the process. The parents need to think that the teachers are working for the children day and night so that whatever the loss is there, that is fulfilled. As you were talking about knowledge gap, they are trying their level best to reach out to the children in all the ways, whether it is making PPT or having interaction or preparing video or having doubt clearing classes. They are reaching out the children in all the ways so that the knowledge gap what we perceive, that is diminished, or at least it can be brought to the certain level. So uh,
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. You're in mute.
so the initial stages, the parents' role is very high as they have to give the required technical support for the child, whether it is providing Wi-Fi connection or it is the um, uh, gadgets or it is regarding some stationery. Maybe a lot of activities will be done at home itself. For example, our fourth grade children, they did a role play on teeth. So the making of mask and for that cardboard and whatever the things are required, stationery materials, that has to be provided by the parents. And some of the
Hello, ma'am.
passion. So as far as this online classes are concerned, the parents should see to that such ambience is not created. The free environment should be given to the child so that the learning teaching process goes on smoothly. Apart from that, they need to contact the teachers frequently so that they can understand where support is required from the parent side. Maybe regarding some of the assignments, it has to be completed by the student. Maybe the child is in very low grade, maybe in first grade or second grade. The instruction might not be perceived properly by the child. If the parents contact the teacher directly, then most of the issues can be solved. So it's not very highlighting one, but a little bit of support will definitely go a long way.
So, ma'am, in the end, I would like to ask, what all activities would you suggest for the, to the students to do, like with a friend virtually or with their parents virtually, so that it can increase or help them with their, academic or social learning?
Yeah, as I told you, a lot of activities can be done through virtually also. As I said, think and pair activity. This is very, very interesting. When it is incorporated, even the students learn it. The second activity is role play. When the role play is done, it's not necessary all the lessons are taught in the traditional manner. That can be converted into different ways. So a role play, the whole lesson, especially in English or in science, it can be converted into role play, and students thoroughly enjoyed. And by that, in one or two classes, the teacher can conclude the class also, and the understanding is much better in role play rather than teaching in a very traditional manner. Apart from that, the events like Father's Day or we did Vanamohotsava on 31st August. We gave the instruction that they have to do seed bombing, vertical garden, and plant some medicinal plants, and click pick and post it in the group. They did so wonderfully. Last time we did it practically, the students were engaged in that, but this time they clicked the pics, and we circulated those pics among all the students. So it was like a collaborative learning. Each child was able to see the other child's work. So in that way we can engage the children in these type of activities. Even Father's, we missed out Father's Day since we couldn't operate the school in the month of June, or else even Independence Day we celebrated virtually. Apart from that, as I said, the activities like scaffolding, that can be done in the classroom. And as I said, peer self assessment can be done, but peer assessment cannot be done on the virtual platform. But what can be done is self assessment is one of the activities that can be done. And when the student give marks to themselves, they feel a sense of accomplishment. So that gives a lot of liberty, autonomy, and a sense of accomplishment also. So these, it need not be very complex theory to be included, but little activities go a long way.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for all the activities that you have just told our viewers. And thank you so much for the thoughts that you have shared and your time. Thank you, ma'am.
So much. I thank Entab for giving me opportunity to share my whatever little bit we have done, and I thank all the viewers for spending their time with us. Thank you.
Thank you.